If this story touched your heart, we'd love to know. Where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below and let's see how far this story travels. Your thoughts matter here, and every comment helps us build a global community of story lovers. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because tomorrow, a brand new story awaits. One that might just move you even more. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and thank you for being part of this journey. Ava Collins had always blended into the background. At just 23, she was the kind of girl people rarely noticed. Not because she lacked charm or beauty, but because she carried herself with quiet grace, never demanding attention. Her long chestnut hair was usually tied back in a low ponytail, and her clothes, while neat and presentable, never screamed for the spotlight. In the bustling halls of her university, classmates passed her by without a second glance, their attention often reserved for louder personalities or flashier appearances. She worked part-time at a cozy bookstore downtown, the kind with wooden shelves, handwritten recommendations, and the faint smell of cinnamon coffee lingering in the air. Ava loved it there. It was peaceful, predictable, no judging eyes, no whispered gossip. But outside of that space, the world wasn't always kind. Some of her peers whispered behind her back, questioning her worth or why she always seemed to be alone. "She's just plain," they said. "Doesn't really stand out." Others went as far as mocking her when they thought she couldn't hear, laughing at her thrift store shoes or the way she never posted on social media. But what they didn't see was the fire behind her calm gaze, the girl who stayed up late, studying not for grades, but because she genuinely wanted to understand the world. The girl who took care of her little brother while juggling 2 jobs and a full-time class schedule. The girl who believed that kindness didn't need applause to matter. One afternoon during a campus event, Ava stood quietly near the back while students buzzed around tables with free food, music, and flashing cameras. She sipped her iced tea and smiled faintly at the crowd, unnoticed as usual. A group of girls nearby were whispering and laughing, eyes darting in her direction. "Is that Ava Collins?" one asked with a smirk. "I've only seen her once. In class. She's fine, I guess." Another added, "She's not ugly, but definitely not CEO girlfriend material." Ava heard them, every word. But instead of reacting, she simply took another sip of her tea and looked up at the sky. The sun was warm, the clouds soft and drifting. They didn't know her. And they certainly didn't know the secret she'd been quietly keeping for months. One that would soon change everything. What no one knew, not the girls gossiping at the event, not her classmates, not even the barista who saw her every morning, was that Ava Collins was dating Logan Hayes? Yes, that Logan Hayes. The 27-year-old heir to Hayes Dynamics, a multi-billion-dollar clean energy company with headquarters in Seattle and reach across the globe. The same Logan who was listed in Forbes' top 30 under 30, the man behind sharp business suits, boardroom takeovers, and headlines like the next great CEO. Most people wouldn't put them in the same frame. She was quiet, bookish, from a middle-class background. He was magnetic, powerful, and born into wealth. But fate had its own plans. They met by accident. Literally. 6 months ago, Ava had spilled a cup of hot coffee on him while rushing to her shift at the bookstore. She was horrified. He was amused. Instead of getting angry, Logan smiled and offered to buy her a fresh drink. That day turned into an unexpected conversation. That conversation turned into weekly meetups, late-night calls, and eventually a relationship built not on glamour but on something real. They kept it private, Logan's idea mostly. He said he wanted to protect her from the noise, from tabloids, from fake friends who'd suddenly try to connect. Ava agreed. She liked their bubble. No flashing cameras, no pressure. Just him, just her. But that didn't mean their relationship was easy. Logan was busy, often flying out for board meetings, product launches, investor calls. And Ava, juggling work and school, sometimes went days without seeing him. There were moments she doubted herself. Did she belong in his world? Could someone like her truly fit beside a man everyone expected to marry a supermodel or an heiress? That Night after the campus event, she sat alone on a bench overlooking the lake. The same comments echoed in her head. Not CEO girlfriend material? She almost laughed. If only they knew. As if on cue, her phone buzzed. Logan. Look up. She did. A sleek black SUV was parked across the street. The window rolled down, and there he was, still in his work suit, sleeves rolled, hair slightly tousled, and that grin she knew too well. Get in, he called. You need cake and company. She crossed the street, heart pounding. As she slid into the passenger seat, Logan leaned in and kissed her cheek. Rough day? He asked gently. She nodded. People talk. He pulled away just enough to meet her eyes. Let them. And in that moment, with the city lights flickering through the windshield and his hand wrapped tightly around hers, Ava didn't care who saw them. Because for once, she wasn't hiding anymore. The following week, Ava found herself staring at a small, pale yellow box sitting on the front desk of the bookstore where she worked. Her name was written on top in beautiful cursive. No note, no branding, just that familiar handwriting that made her heart skip a beat. Inside was a cake. Not just any cake, her favorite, vanilla bean with strawberry layers and light whipped frosting. Simple, sweet, just like her. Tucked underneath the box was a folded piece of notebook paper for helping me get through last month. I know I've been busy, distracted, distant, but you were always there. I see it all. I see you. Leva's hands trembled slightly as she read the note. She blinked back tears. Most people expected grand gestures from billionaires. First class, trips, diamond necklaces, designer handbags. But this quiet box, delivered without a crowd, said more than any Instagram-worthy flex ever could. It was Logan's way of speaking when words weren't enough. Still, the pressure of keeping things secret began to creep in. The bookstore manager raised an eyebrow when Ava excused herself for a 10-minute break, just to step outside, open her messages, and watch a voice note Logan had sent her the night before. In it, he was cooking, burning pancakes actually, and humming one of her favorite 2000s love songs in a hilariously off-key voice. Don't judge me, he laughed in the audio. This is your Sunday breakfast, if I survive. It was silly, it was imperfect, but it was real. And for Ava, real was everything. That Friday, Logan had texted her with one simple line. Tonight, wear something comfy. No cameras, just you and me. He picked her up after her evening class. No limousine, no staff, just Logan in his beat-up Jeep Wrangler, the one he refused to get rid of because it kept him grounded. They drove up north, about an hour outside, Seattle, to a secluded cabin tucked in the woods near Lake Crescent. The drive was mostly quiet, filled with laughter, soft music, and the occasional argument over song choices. When they arrived, the fire was already going. Logan had prepped everything, her favorite records, her favorite snacks. Even the little knitted blanket she once left at his place months ago was neatly folded on the couch. And then, in the most unexpected twist of the night, Logan cooked. Yes, the billionaire who could hire a Michelin star chef any day of the week was now scrambling eggs, flipping grilled cheese, and trying not to set the pan on fire. Ava couldn't stop smiling. After dinner, as they sat on the porch wrapped in that same blanket, Logan turned to her and said, I know I don't say it all the time, but I notice every little thing you do, every sacrifice, every quiet way you love. You've changed my life, Ava. And under the stars, with the lake gently rippling in the moonlight, Ava realized something. He wasn't trying to impress her. He was just trying to love her, in his own imperfect, beautiful way. A week after that unforgettable night by the lake, Ava got a message from Logan's assistant, Maya. It was a simple invite, an after-hours celebration at a rooftop lounge downtown. Logan had just closed a major deal, something about a renewable energy partnership with the city of San Francisco. It was a big win. And while he hadn't mentioned the party directly to Ava, Maya made it clear. He would want you there. Ava stared at the text for what felt like forever. She hadn't expected to be included. Parties like that were filled with billionaires, tech moguls, fashion icons, and influencers. People with polished nails, designer heels, and a presence that turned heads. And then there was her, just Ava. Thrift store shoes, bookstore apron, and her favorite cardigan that had been washed so many times it was fading. Still, something inside her said, go. She kept it simple. A black silk blouse, jeans that fit just right, and a touch of red lipstick, Logan's favorite. As she stepped into the elevator of the high-rise building, her heart pounded. She could already hear the faint hum of laughter, clinking glasses, and music as the floor number lit up. The rooftop was glowing. Twinkle lights lined the railings, and the city skyline sparkled behind floor-to-ceiling glass walls. She spotted Logan almost instantly, tall, confident, dressed in a midnight blue suit, laughing with a group of CEOs and young politicians. He hadn't seen her yet. As she stepped into the room, a few heads turned. Not because she was flashy, but because she was unexpected. Whispers floated around her. Who is that? Wait, isn't that the girl from the bookstore near campus? She looks different tonight. Ava tried to stay calm. She didn't belong here, or so she thought. But before the doubts could spiral, Logan's eyes found hers from across the room. And just like that, everything slowed down. He excused himself mid-conversation, cutting across the polished floor in long strides. You came, he said, his voice lower now, full of surprise and something more. Relief. You didn't invite me, Ava teased gently, looking up at him. I wanted to, Logan whispered, leaning in closer. But I was afraid you'd say no, she smiled. Then I'm glad Maya ignored that. Before she could say more, someone behind them shouted, Logan, give us a song. Apparently there was a karaoke setup. The crowd started cheering, pushing him toward the mic. Logan turned to her, eyes sparkling. Come with me. What? No. Logan, just one song, he said, taking her hand. Moments later, Ava stood beside him, mic in hand, barely breathing. But as the music began, Logan gave her that look, the one that said it's just you and me. So she sang. And to her surprise, the words came easily. By the end, the room was silent. Then came the applause. Not for the deal, not for the party. For her. And in that moment, surrounded by strangers and city lights, Ava realized something. She didn't just fit into Logan's world, she was becoming part of it. After that night, nothing felt the same. The next morning, Ava walked into the bookstore, still replaying every moment in her head. The lights, the music, the way Logan had looked at her like she was the only person in the world. And the way the crowd, full of strangers, had applauded not because she was perfect, but because for the first time, she'd let herself be seen. But not everyone celebrated her the way Logan did. Later that week, a tabloid photo surfaced. A grainy shot of her leaving the rooftop party, Logan's hand gently resting on her lower back. The headline read, Mystery. Girl spotted with haze air. New romance or passing fling? Ava stared at the screen, her stomach twisting. Within hours, her social media, once quiet and barely used, was flooded with friend requests, comments, and messages. Some were kind, others cruel. Strangers speculated about her, judged her looks, questioned her worth. One even wrote, she must be after his money. No way someone like her gets a guy like that. She nearly deleted everything. When Logan called that night, she didn't answer. He texted, then again. Finally, talk to me, Ava, please. She replied simply, I don't belong in your world. But the next day, as she left her apartment, Logan was waiting, leaning against his Jeep. No bodyguards, no press, just him. Holding a bouquet of sunflowers, her favorite. You don't get to walk away because someone else decided you don't fit their mold, he said, stepping toward her. I don't care what the world thinks. I care what you think. About me. About us, Ava stood frozen, heart pounding. You were right, she whispered. I was scared. Scared they'd tear me down, and scared I'd let them. Logan's eyes softened. You didn't. You're still here, aren't you? She nodded slowly. He reached for her hand, gently threading his fingers through hers. Ava Collins, you're the bravest person I know, and I'm done hiding what we have. So if you'll let me, I want the world to see us. Together. For a moment, everything went quiet. And then, Ava smiled, really smiled, and stepped forward. A few months passed. The headlines changed. No longer Mystery Girl. Now it was Ava Collins, from bookstore to boardroom. Not because she clung to Logan's name, but because she earned her own. She launched a literacy program backed by Hayes Dynamics. She became a voice for girls who never felt seen. She stayed grounded, humble, but no longer invisible. At a gala that winter, as cameras flashed and guests buzzed, Ava walked hand in hand with Logan. And someone whispered, "Isn't she the girl who used to work at the bookstore?" "No," someone else said, smiling. "She's the one who stole the billionaire's heart." And in that moment, Ava didn't just belong in Logan's world. She stood tall, knowing she had created a world of her own. If you've made it this far, we want to hear from you. What part of Ava and Logan's journey spoke to your heart the most? Was it the quiet way Logan showed his love, or Ava's transformation from overlooked to unstoppable? Maybe you felt like Ava, misunderstood, underestimated, or like you, didn't belong. Or maybe you've been lucky enough to find someone who saw your worth before the world ever did. Share your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one, and your words might just resonate with someone else reading too. And hey, tell us where you're watching from. Whether you're in New York, Manila, London, or a small town no one's heard of, we want to know how far this story travels. Don't forget to like the video if it touched you, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next love story that could leave you smiling, crying, or both. Tomorrow, a new story drops. And trust us, you won't want to miss it.